Have you ever found yourself looking around at your life and whispering, God, what is going on? You're doing your best to follow Him. You've prayed, obeyed, said yes to His will. But instead of open doors, you're facing detours. Instead of applause, there's silence. You scroll through your feed and everyone's life looks stable. They are moving forward, new jobs, new homes, new milestones. And if you're on Instagram or LinkedIn, you sure know what I'm talking about. And you're over here watching plans unravel, wondering how obedience could have led you here. You thought favor will feel like momentum, acceleration, everything finally coming together. But instead, it feels like you're crawling, like God turned left when you were so sure the road went right. Or maybe, just maybe, God stopped in the middle of the road altogether, and you're standing there asking, what happened to the plan, the promise, the purpose I thought I was working toward? Hi, I'm Kemi Adefarakan, wife, lawyer, mom of two teenage sons, and a toddler daughter who came after 40 and completely changed my life. Through the Designed Woman channel, I share my journey to encourage mothers, especially those of us over 40, to stop living by the world's expectations and to start living by God's design. And today I want to talk about what that really looks like. Learning to trust God's design for your life, even when it doesn't look like the blueprint you had in mind. And that's exactly where Mary, the mother of Jesus, found herself too. You can read her story in Luke 1:26 to 46. She was young, maybe 17, 18, or 19, a girl full of dreams, planning her wedding, probably thinking about the colors, the decor, the ceremony, the laughter, the joy. Imagining her home with Joseph, a quiet, simple life filled with love and normalcy. Then one ordinary day, heaven interrupts her plans. A divine visitor steps into her story with words that would shift the entire trajectory of her life. Let's read from Luke 1:26 to 28. I'm using the Amplified Version. Now, in the 6th month after that, the angel Gabriel was sent from God to a town of Galilee named Nazareth, to a girl never having been married, and a virgin engaged to be married to a man whose name was Joseph, a descendant of the house of David, and the virgin's name was Mary. 28. And he came to her and said, Hail, O favored one, endued with grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed, favored of God are you before all other women. Highly favored. Really? Because what followed didn't look like favor. It looked like risk, misunderstanding, loss, like a disruption that would cost her everything, her reputation, her relationship, even her life. And yet, that's how heaven defines favor. Not as the absence of difficulty, but as the presence of divine purpose. Mary's yes didn't come with a map. It came with a miracle she couldn't explain. That's how divine disruption often works. It asks you to trust when you can't see yet. Maybe your story feels disrupted too. Maybe the plan you prayed for has changed shape, and you're standing in the middle of something that doesn't make sense yet. But can I tell you something? What looks like disappointment might actually be God's redirection. What feels like a detour might be destiny in disguise. And what seems like loss might actually be the making of something divine. Because sometimes favor hides behind closed doors. Sometimes it wears the disguise of delay. Sometimes it walks in looking like loss. But every divine disruption carries a divine design. Favor doesn't always come wrapped in comfort. Sometimes it comes wrapped in disruption. It doesn't always add to your plans. Sometimes it interrupts them. Because what feels like disruption to us is often divine direction from heaven. Mary's yes didn't make her life easier. It made her life eternal. She carried something the world had never seen, but she had to walk through misunderstanding to do it. And for me, the birth of my daughter after the age of 40 ushered in my own divine disruption. A season where God tore up the script I had written for myself, and I finally started aligning with His. Everything changed, not overnight, but deeply. Because that's what divine disruption does. It doesn't just alter your plans, it reshapes your heart. And maybe that's where you are right now, too. Standing in the middle of a story that doesn't make sense yet. Wondering if God forgot the script altogether. But what if this, right here, right now, isn't a setback, but a setup? What if this disruption is the very thing God is using to draw your heart closer to Him? Because divine disruption isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's a space where His plans start to take shape in ways you never could have imagined. So if your story doesn't look like theirs, those people you keep comparing yourself to, if favor doesn't look like what you imagined, take heart. Because you just might be in the middle of the miracle you prayed for. God's favor sometimes comes in quietly, through closed doors, through tears, through the unknown. But when it unfolds, you will look back and see His fingerprints all over the disruption. So maybe this season of waiting, this detour, this delay isn't God's punishment, it's His preparation. Maybe what feels like your greatest interruption is actually your invitation to something divine. Don't despise the divine disruption. You're still favored, even here, even now. And when His plans when His plans unfold, you will realize that the detour was destiny all along. If this encouraged you, share it with another woman walking through her own season of divine disruption. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more faith-filled encouragement on becoming the woman God designed you to be. Until next time, take care and God bless.